Rosemary Nelson began her final journey surrounded in death as she had been in life by her children, her family and the community she served. Her coffin, borne by her husband and father, was flanked by her two young sons. Gavin and Christopher Nelson had been on a school skiing trip when their mother was killed. The cortege passed the exact spot where on Monday, at the end of this quiet cul-de-sac, a sophisticated device blew up Rosemary Nelson's car. Shops and offices remain closed in Lurgan today as a mark of respect for the lawyer whose practice was well known in this small town. Thousands marched behind the coffin in a display of silent solidarity with the family on their hour-long journey to the church. Halfway, and the youngest honour guard from Tanamore School, the friends of Rosemary Nelson's youngest child, Sarah, who'd heard the explosion from her classroom. Rosemary Nelson was a pupil, then a governor of the school, her sister a teacher. Its choir would provide her final serenade as the procession reached the church. Rosemary Nelson represented people of all traditions, but it was her work for the nationalist community that marked her out as a target. Among the mourners, Sinn Féin's Jerry Kelly, and the families of Republican clients, like Colin Duffy, acquitted for the murder of a retired soldier. She was also the solicitor for nationalist residents in Portadown, fighting to stop orange marches through the Gavahi Road. Representatives of the Protestant churches joined the Irish president to hear the funeral mass celebrated on behalf of her young children.
Today we are gathered here to celebrate the short but very special life of my mum, Rosemary.
They heard the Bishop of Dromore appeal for calm. He said Rosemary Nelson had chosen legal means to right differences, and her choice should be respected over violence. Outside the church, that was repeated by Sinn Féin, who appealed to people to resist provocation.
It is obviously a very deliberate attack. I think at a period in the peace process at the moment to choose a human rights lawyer, to kill a nationalist human rights lawyer, to me is trying to bring the process down.
The RUC has kept away from today's proceedings in Lurgan in deference to the depth of feeling against the force, particularly in this case. Responsibility for the murder inquiry itself has already been given to a chief constable of an outside force, and a report into allegations that the RUC itself threatened Rosemary Nelson has had to be carried out by the Metropolitan Police. That file is now with the Director of Public Prosecutions in Northern Ireland.
Now the British government once again have brought in another English police officer to investigate this murder of Rosemary. Rosemary herself would find that very ironic. That cases Rosemary dealt with in the past were investigated by other English police officers, namely Stalker, Stevens, Sampson. We have never heard the truth of those reports. We have never had those reports published.
Rosemary Nelson's murder coincides with new allegations about RUC collusion in the murder of the lawyer Pat Finucane 10 years ago. Now campaigners like Michael Mansfield QC want a judicial inquiry into both.
It's been clear for a very long time that lawyers in the north of Ireland have been subjected to this kind of pressure, and it seems to me nobody has really taken it seriously. I hope now they will take it seriously and they'll respond, and there will be investigations. And again, once again, it's up to the rest of us to ensure that those in authority are not let off the hook, that they do this job. How many more deaths do there have to be?
The legacy of this controversial lawyer will be the determination to continue the case for civil rights in Northern Ireland. It can only be hoped that her murder will not presage a violent departure from the justice that she sought.